What is going on, everyone? Hopefully, you guys can see me. This is our first time going live. We're going to make some seller calls. And we should be live on Facebook and YouTube. So I'm hoping that you guys can see me. So let's see. I'm going to allow a couple people to get on the stream. That way you guys can watch. And I want to make sure that, let's see, I want to make sure I can see your comments as well. If you can, see the live and you're live right now, can you comment and let me know that the sound's coming out good? I want to make sure that you can hear me loud and clear. So that way, when I am talking to sellers, you guys can hear everything coming through. If not, I need to adjust the volume. But let me know if you guys can hear me. Comment on the comment section. Let me know. I'm going to try to answer all your questions. And that way, looks like, let's see. Cool. Tim, awesome, man. Let's go. Ronak says, sounds good. Thank you, Lena, as well. So it looks like we're coming out pretty strong with the sound. So, guys, thank you for joining me. Today, this is our first official launch of live seller calls, right? I'm going to do this once a week. I'm going to spend about 10 minutes here, just giving a little bit of feedback on why we're doing this, right? I want to make sure that you get an understanding of the reason why we're doing this and why. So I want to spend a little bit of time on that. But thank you, everyone, first of all, that submitted leads. I know that you're entrusting us and that you're putting them in there for us to be able to call them and for us to close some deals, right? That's the name of the game. So I'm extremely excited because I know that you guys, a lot of you have followed me for a while, and I always give nuggets, I always give tips. But today, and you guys have seen me, I put skits or I'll put pieces of seller calls, but today you're going to see me actually go through some calls. Now, what happens typically in this live, and I want to set some ground rules here, is that sometimes nobody will answer and sometimes will, and that's just the name of the game, right? We understand that real estate is a numbers game, right? And this is what I want to tell you guys that are out there, is that real estate is a numbers game. It's just something you have to continuously do. Basically, is keep calling until someone answers. I have a few leads that people submitted. I'm going to show you a couple of strategies too, so that way your contact ratio increases as well too, because of the amount of leads that we got. I got a feeling that might, depending on the answer and the conversations that we have. But I do have one call here right away, so I want to try to wrap this up. So, guys, all of you that submitted the leads, thank you. Jorge, I see you're on here live, man. I appreciate you. Let's go. So let's and again, I'm just to wrap this up a little bit. I'm going to do two things on here. I'm going to call. So there's some callbacks that are set and there's some follow-ups, right? And then the other thing I'm going to do as well too is that I am going to do some cold calling as well too. So I'm going to have a combination of both, because I think it is good to show you as well, not only on the follow-up side, but as well on the cold call side. So that way you can take some tips and tricks and stuff like that. So that way you can learn how to increase your conversation ratio when it comes to cold calling. There's certain strategies and things that you can do, as well as your contact ratio as well too. So but thank you guys for joining me. So let's get to it. Let me see who we have here first on the line for us to call. So it looks like Renan Mendez. This is the property here in Phoenix, and it looks like he's actually ready for our call right now. So I'm going to call him. I'm going to talk to him, and I'm looking at the notes right now, and I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to be using Batch to comp the properties. So what I want to do is I want to jump over to Batch really quick, and that way you guys can see this. Give me 1 second here. Let's see. All right, cool. So it looks like I'm going to make this bigger. So perfect. So what I'm going to do is let me remove the banner so you guys can see what's going on here. Okay, perfect. Go back to comments. If you have any questions while I'm doing this, go ahead and drop your questions in the comment section, so that way I can answer them for you, and then we can, that way I can answer the questions, and that way I can help you guys with any questions that you have. So let's take a look at this property. Now, this property is here in Arizona, in Tonopah. Let's see. Search it. So one thing I like doing, I know everybody always asks, like, what do you like using for comps? I like to use a mixture of batch, prop stream, a couple of different ones because I think you're that way you can get an idea of actually what a good ARV is going to be for your property that you're actually looking at. So now Tonopah is west of Phoenix. It's out there quite a bit. So it is a growing area, but as you can see, right, there's not a lot going on. We have solds in the last 12 months. So one thing I want to look at first is the details of the property, right? And I'm actually looking at the notes right now that we have from the person that submitted this. Let's see. So it looks like, okay, it's time to sell, either sell or rent, recently retired, 70-year-old. Now I briefly look at the notes. Another thing that you'll see me do a lot on these lives is I don't spend too much time on the notes. All I want to know is if they're actually ready to sell. That's really all I want to know. I'm not looking for, and because sometimes what happens, they'll say things to you that or they'll say things to whoever made the call they'll say something new to you as well. So let's give this person a call and see if they pick up. Let's see. All right. If you guys have any questions while I'm dialing, put them in the comment section. I want to answer your questions so that way, if you do have any questions on any of this, okay, it's not dialing out. Let me try this again. That way, if you do have any questions, I can answer them for you. Let's see if they answer. To connect to 714-200-451. Let me know if you guys can hear the phone clearly, please. If you can comment. Okay, so usually when a double rings, that means they're not going to answer. But I'm going to show you guys. I want to show you a strategy to so okay, so we didn't get an answer. What I like to do is I like calling back to back, and I'm gonna explain to you why it's a good strategy for you to call back to back right now after hopefully they answer on this second one. To connect to 714-200-45. Perfect. It looks like you can hear the phone clearly. Awesome. Let's see if we have a picture of the property inside Google. Yeah, so it looks like we have nothing as far as in the picture. So they're not going to answer. Usually, your call has been forwarded to an. So no answer. So quick tip: when you're calling on your follow-ups, this is only on your follow-ups. You don't necessarily have to do this on your cold calls. If you basically call back to back, right? What happens is that the reason why I do that is because think about this, right? Let's say that I don't know if you guys that are watching, they have kids, or maybe that, family members that call you. When you see a number pop up that you don't know, but they call you back to back, typically it means that it could mean that there's an emergency. Maybe you think it's an emergency, so you're going to answer. You're going to answer that phone, right? Sometimes we'll do triple dial backs, right? And I talked about this a little bit on when I did with Steven Morales when I was on the live with him, and that actually increases your contact ratio because I know when a number calls me, especially that have kids or family members that that are maybe you don't know, right? If it's a number that's calling you and they call you back to back, even 3 times, most 7 out of 10 times you're going to pick up that call just because you have no idea what that number is about or who's calling you. And it's actually a really good strategy. And then in that way, your connection rate goes up a lot higher, and you'll be able to get a hold of more people. So Retta says, do you recommend leaving voicemails? If you're going to leave a voicemail, very vague. I don't like to leave very detailed voicemails because at the end of the day, the likelihood of them calling you back based on the voicemail is very low. But yeah, and also it depends too on what is it called? It depends too on the relationship that you built with the buyer, or sorry, with the seller. So if it's a seller that you're already working with and you're calling them back for something, but on these types of calls right now that we're just starting the relationship, I don't like leaving voicemails. I'll leave a voicemail, but it's gonna be very vague, like, hey, Red, it's Max. Give me a call, please. It's about your property over on Virginia Avenue, and that's it. I want to create curiosity, and I want to create, make sure that that I don't give them too much. Because if I say, hey, Red, it's Max, I'm calling because you had interested in selling the property over at XYZ Street, and I'm going to call, see if you're interested in selling. I don't want to leave that long voicemail. I just want to say, hey, Red, it's Max. I'm calling about your property over at West Vista. Please call me back as soon as possible. I want to create that urgency. So let's see. We have another one here I want to call this one. This property is out of Texas. So let's see if they answer. Let's see really quick. Guys, if you have any questions, drop your questions on the comment section, and I'll get to them when I'm not dialing or when I'm not talking to somebody. Let's pull this property up. This one is in Allen, Texas. So let's look it up really quick, and let's see if we can get a hold of this seller. All right, let's see. All right, cool. So let's look at the comparables really quick. Okay, so Batch is saying that this property is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Let's see, and it's 1,900 square feet, so it's a good sized property. Let's look at what's going on in the neighborhood. Typically, I like to go 6 months, but I usually start out 12 months. But just to see if there's too many properties, as you can see right here, right? So this is where the property is right here, and we're going back 12 months, and I'm not seeing a lot of comps that have sold in the last 12 months. That's why I typically like to start there. Now, if it was and I don't comp 12 months back. I just want to see the activity that's happening within the last year. Then I'll reduce it down to 6 months, right? So that way I can see what's going on. And you can see, right, there's not a lot of activity, and possibly because not a lot of stuff's coming on the market. That could be why as well, too. So again, we have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,900 square foot house. What do we got here? Right here, we have a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, a little bit bigger house, like 2,083. But honestly, for me, if it's not more than 300 square feet bigger, I'm not really. I can still use the comp, right? For the most part, I like to stay around 200. But if I don't have a lot of comps, I think my threshold is going to be at 300. Now, the other thing that I'm seeing on this property, it looks like it backs up to a golf course from what I'm seeing. Now, that could change the value of it as well, too. So I mean, 455. Let's see, this one 380. What is this one right here? So this one's a 32, 1,800. So this is actually active right now. Now, I don't typically look at actives because not to use as comp per se, but at least I want to get an idea of what the market is doing and where the market is trending. So what I'm gonna do is, because there's not a lot of comps for us, I'm gonna slide over here. I know I'm crossing over, but just want to see what this is. Okay, this is a little bit bigger property. Here's this one. So this one's 32, 1,900. Okay, so this is going to be a good comp for us, right? So it looks like, let's look at the details on this one. So it looks like this one actually sold. It closed for sell amount 428,000. So that's not a bad comp. It's almost identical to the square footage as ours, right? I think ours was or the subject property. Let's take a look at the picture of the subject property. Okay, let's give him a call, see what's going on with this. Let's see here. Teresa. Okay, this is a good deal, man. I don't know why my phone's acting up. I'm using CallRail, and for some reason it's not. It keeps locking up on me. But let's see if this one answers. All right, let's see if Teresa answers. Hey guys, if you have any questions, put them in the comment section while I'm doing this in between calls, and then I'll definitely answer them for you. Yeah, and I've done so many calls. I'm typically good. Usually, when you hear that double ring, it typically means that they're not going to answer. Either they send me to voicemail or they hung up. One of the two. But let's take a look at it really quick. And this is part of the game, right? It's the follow up. Is this is part of the game when you call and you basically you're gonna have people that might not pick up. Let's see this property. I mean, this property is pretty clean. All right. And like I said, I love doing the double back to back calls again because your contact ratio is going to go a lot higher if you do that. And that way it gives you an opportunity to have conversations. And I'll drop a voicemail on here, Retta, so you can hear it. Yeah, so it looks like not even the voicemail. So it could be a house number. If you put this lead in, I don't know if there's another number maybe we can call. But let me see if I have a number in here we can call because I know with this is what I love about this. So I can comp the property in here. You know what? No, I'm not going to have another phone number for it. But and basically it's not they didn't answer, right? And I was trying to show Retta how I leave a voicemail, but nobody picked up on that voicemail. But let's move on to the second one, to the next one. It looks like this one is in Phoenix as well. So let's call this person up really quick, see what's going on. Okay, let's get the property address. Sorry guys, I'm having some technical difficulties over here, but all right, here we go. So let's pop the address in here. Now, you notice I'm not jumping around too much because I want to get a conversation going. And then once I do, I want to make sure that once I get a conversation going with them, then I'm going to go into motion. I just want to see what's going on right now. And as far as what's cool about batch too is you get the stress indicators. But let's see, let's call Joseph and see if he's going to answer us. Let's see. Evan says, so I have 3 cold callers and every day they get no leads. I give them a script with objections and have trained them, but seems to be getting anywhere. What's your opinion on this? Evan, so I've seen a couple of things happen, right? If you're having your cold callers, what is it called? Qualify your lead too strong. For us, all we want our cold callers is we want them to get somebody to raises their hand and says yes. That's all we want, right? We don't want them qualifying them too strong. You might give them 1 or 2 questions to ask because they're never going to qualify a lead as good as you are ever. You're never going to get that. I've never seen anybody, I never seen or even had a VA that qualified a lead as strong as I can. So my goal for my VAs, I want them to just get the people that want to sell and raise their hands when they and raise their hand, right? That's it. Say yes. Then they can pass them on to my lead manager or myself, and then I'll call them, and disqualify them completely. So let's call Joseph. Hopefully that helps, Evan. So maybe what I would say is try to tone down their script a little bit. Maybe don't disqualify them too hard, or try to go through a very difficult qualifying process. So that way, you're not, that way you're getting more leads in. Because if you're almost to the point where you want them to submit them where they're ready to go, sometimes that's tough. It takes a lot of training and it takes a lot of work from you, to get a VA up to that par. And that's why you might be not seeing a lot of leads. They might be disqualifying too hard. Second thing is VAs fall off script, so you have to monitor them. You have to make sure that they're following the script as well. If not, you're going to see a lot of a lot of a lot of problems like that where they don't give you leads. So, all right, let's see. So, all right, let's call this. Let's call Joseph. See if he picks up. Nice corner house. Man, my call reel is Red. I'll answer that question right now after this call. Hello, Joseph.
Yes.
Hey, Joseph, it's Max. I'm calling you because you had spoken to one of my team members about your property over in West Virginia Avenue.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, like I said, my name is Max. And just wanted to call you. Probably caught you at a bad time.
Nope.
Okay, perfect. So it looks like I know they left me some notes, and I wanted to call you directly, right, to see, are you still considering selling with that one?
700,000. Your choice. Bring cash. It's your house. 700,000. Thanks.
700,000, huh? So there you go, guys. So he didn't want to have a conversation. He's pretty. He's sometimes you'll run into that, right, where people don't want to have a conversation. But usually, here's the thing, though: when you run into somebody like that, that's really not a motivated seller, right? It's somebody that doesn't have pain. There's not a lot of motivation. And I'm looking at the notes. The individual that submitted this lead, he even put on here, he's talked to him before, very short, right, on the phone, just like he was with me. But actually, what I'm going to do is another trick I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to call him back, and I'm going to say we got disconnected, and then see if I can get more information. So just because they hang up like that, we're going to disqualify him pretty hard right now.
Thank you for calling Joe Zahara with Case of Window Restorations. I'm sorry I missed your call.
I'm going to call him again. He's going to get upset. To connect to 6. Might get cussed out here, guys. Yeah, he's not going to pick up anymore. I could tell.
Thank you for calling Joe Zahara with Case of Window Restorations.
All right, guys. So on that one, so two things, right? He is not a motivated seller. He's not somebody that he's only motivated by if someone gives him the $700,000. But even then, even if I was to say, okay, I'm gonna give you $700,000, he doesn't even have. He's not engaged. He's not willing to talk, at least, for a couple minutes to figure out this is even a property that we want to buy, or if we can even work together. So that's not a motivated seller. Usually it's a defense mechanism just to not to talk to people. And so for that one, I disqualify that one. You could put him on a follow-up if you want, like if you have a drip sequence. But I would not follow up with him anymore. He doesn't even want to have a conversation. So I would just move on from this one. However, I would put him on a drip sequence, so that way, your system is following up and not you. Retta, so your question, Retta, it says, at this speed, manually dialing leads one by one via call rail, how much would you expect your lead manager to do per day? So our lead manager does not use call rail. We use SMS 360, which happens to be a power dialer. We don't do manual dialing when we're following up, especially our acquisitions or our lead manager. I'm using it because I'm calling these leads one by one. That's why, yeah. But our lead manager does not do manual dialing. because if not, you see what's going on, right, with the manual dialing. So but yeah, make sure your leads manager is on a power dialer that he can click to call, or that he can create an actual campaign, so that way he can create an actual campaign that he can call on. Okay, so hopefully that'll help. um the other thing too is that what you want to do is you want to make sure that when you have someone like this, is don't get caught up too much on him giving you a price, right? Ronak, I think this was your lead. What happens a lot of times with people like this is they throw out a price, and we get a little bit of happy ears because we got someone and they're giving us a price. That doesn't mean anything, right? What for me, I need to know if there's I don't care about the property. The price is relevant to me. The two things I want to know is motivation slash pain, and then also what is it called, and timeline. For me, that would be the secondary thing. Property condition I don't care about, or price. At the end of the day, I want to have a conversation to see if this is somebody I want to continue talking to, so that way we can build a relationship and potentially buy the house. But when they give us a price like that, I don't typically I don't, again, I'm not jumping on it just because I don't want to. I want to move on to the next one, right? We're in the sifting business. We're not in the convincing business. Even if somebody gives us a number, I'm not going to be jumping on it and following up 1,000 times with that guy. So, but again, if you have a system, you can throw them in there and let the system do what it does. So hopefully that helps out. If you guys are, let me get back here, share with you my screen again. Oh, let's see. All right, let's see. Yep. Cool, guys. I want to, if you guys are getting value out of this, I want you guys to go to go to my take a picture, record something, go to Instagram, and basically tag me on there if you guys are getting value out of this. If you're getting value out of what I'm doing now. I know we haven't really talked to anybody, but there's my Instagram, right? You guys can follow me on Instagram. You guys can drop your comments and your questions as well too. Yeah. So yeah, I would, one thing, Ronak, I like that. Let me put the your comment on here, because I do like this. I like the comment that you put on there, right? So Ronak said, he said, thank you. I like your call got disconnected idea. Yeah, because we don't know, right? We're assuming here now. We want him to tell us. We want the seller, whoever it is that you're talking to tell us, hey, the call didn't get disconnected. I just hung up on you. What I was gonna do in that scenario, if he answered, I was gonna tell him like, hey, I'm sorry, Joseph. I think the call got disconnected. That's my fault. He's gonna say, no, no, no. I told you, hey, is there any way we can at least, is there 5 minutes to even see if I can even pay that? And then I was gonna ask him like, the last time you bought the property, is that how you bought it? You just shouted a number and said it if you want it, or did you? Well, how was the process? How did that process look like? Um, because it gets their attention, right? Like you're basically saying, look, Mister Idiot, or whatever, right? In a nice way, you're letting them know, like, is this how you bought the property? Or did you have a process for it, and then how did that process look like? And most of them are going to say, well, I went with an agent. I called the agent up, and basically we went and looked at it, right? That's the other thing. So that's the idea behind that, is we want to make sure that we get them back on the line. But that always works. Hey, I apologize. It looks like we got disconnected. It was probably on my end. So hopefully that works for you when you're using it, and that way. Let's get back to sharing the screen here. So all right, let's see who's next on the list. Let's give him a call. Okay, so we got one here. Okay, so this one looks like it's gonna be. All right, let's see. This one's in Tempe. I love Tempe. Tempe's a market here in Phoenix that's thriving, and there's a lot of things going on in Tempe. So actually, this looks like it's gonna be a cold call, because nobody's talked to this seller, but it looks like it's a good deal for us. So let's give him a call, see what happens. All right, bear with me here, guys. I'm going through our. Let's see. Okay, so this is going to be a cold call. So you guys are going to hear me cold calling right now. That way you get an idea of how we do it. So let's see. Man, there's a lot of activity going on here. Let's see. We're gonna go back to 6 months.
Connect to 480. Reached 480.
Okay, they got disconnected pretty quick. I'm gonna do a call, a back to back.
One to connect to 480. Reached 480-557-7.
All right, there is another number on here. We have two numbers for this property, so I'm gonna call that second number to see if they pick up. So
To 60. Call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
all right, so it looks like no one's picking up. Let me actually there's a third number on here, but let me move on. That way, let's see if we can get somebody on the phone. Looks like the ones that we were calling, for some reason they're not picking up. But let's see, who are we gonna call next here? Oh, I'm frozen here. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay, let's call this guy right here. Guys, if you have any questions at all, I know we haven't really reached anyone, but I'm hoping that we can get somebody on the line here so we can get some conversations going. So, all right, so this is a deal in our market as well. So let's see. Pop in the address.
One to connect to 5. Hello.
Hello, James.
This is Jim Brush. Yes.
Hey, Jim. My name is Max. I'm calling you because you had spoken to one of my team members about your property over at West Riddisell Road.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Probably caught you at a bad time, Jim.
No, it's all right.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Yeah, Jim. So it looks like you spoke to, one of my team members, and I just wanted to call you to, they left me some notes in here and wanted to talk to you for a couple minutes to see, what has you consider selling this property.
Why had I considered it?
No, what has you considering?
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, well, we decided to wait on it and haven't decided to move forward with selling it as of yet.
As of yet.
Are you a broker or an investor?
No, I'm a direct home buyer. I'm not a realtor or anything. I buy houses directly.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Well, if I remember correctly, when I was talking with your team member, he basically ultimately told me you couldn't give me as much money as I want for it, and he recommended I go ahead and put it on the market.
Okay.
So,
Now he didn't leave that on the notes. When you say as much money as you wanted for it, what do you mean by that?
I think I should get $225,000 for the 2 acres with the single wide mobile home and the horse stalls and the riding arena and pole barn.
Okay. $225,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like you wouldn't consider any other. You wouldn't even look at any other offers besides that one if you got anything else besides that.
I'd consider it, but not much lower than 10% less than that, perhaps.
10% less than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you guys are investors, you want to buy it at a little bit lower and sell it or rent it or whatever. But and I understand that. That's fine. But
Okay.
I want to get what it's worth out of it.
Got it, got it. So, I mean, I'll be upfront with you. I mean, I'm kind of looking at, and I think this is why maybe my teammate that spoke with you earlier or yesterday, I don't remember when it was. Maybe we were too far apart from the 225 as far as cash goes. You know, we have in the past when we got a situation like this where maybe your 225 is typically, I would say, somewhere around market value, right? You could list it on the market. That's probably we recommended that way. We have bought properties
Yeah.
before, close to or at market value, but using different strategies. I don't know if you got like 5 to 10 minutes, or if you're even open to another way of, for us to buy the property and give you what you want.
Well, what I want to do is sell a property so I can pay off the mortgage, which is about $150,000.
Okay. And then besides the mortgage,
And
what would be the next
why
check?
should I walk away from, 20, 30, $40,000 of equity?
Right. I get that. So besides the $150,000 mortgage, what is that next check amount that you would have to write out for, that you would have to pay off?
I'm sorry, say that again.
So besides the $150,000 mortgage, is there something else that you would be needing to pay off, like maybe write a check to someone to pay something else off, or is that just all you owe on the property?
That's that's all we owe.
Okay, got it. So we pay off the mortgage 150,000, and then you're wanting to walk away with 75,000 in your pocket at 225.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
No, definitely. And so, what are the next steps for you? I mean, let's say somebody was to come in and try to give you the 225.
I'd write up a contract and we close.
Okay, wrap the contract and close. All right, got it. And then okay, yeah, it's just I'm having a hard time right now as far as the cash option goes. As far as like giving you the
Uh,
225 cash. I mean, I'll be upfront with you. And again, this is why I call, because we don't buy every single property from everyone we talk to. Typically, I like to figure out first what's going on, but I definitely wouldn't be your buyer at cash at 225. I mean, we could do something where, where I can possibly come in. Just depends on, I got to look to see what the rents are going for in that area, and if it's even a good rental property for us, where maybe, we can get,
right.
but again, I don't want to get too deep into other options unless you're open to them, where I could have you walk away with the 75,000, and then you just let me make payments on what's left over on the 150. But that's some more of depending if are open, to selling through other means besides the whole cash offer.
Well, I think I would want to just let you take over the mortgage. What if you go out of business and the mortgage company comes back after me?
Hey, that's a fair concern, man. That's a fair concern. You never know, right? We might get abducted, or we might get something might happen. And I've always other people have asked me that same question. Actually, Nancy had a concern about that too. We just bought her house, seller carryback, or sorry, 13 acres, and same thing. And her concern was like, what if you guys go out of business? And one thing the way that what I told Nancy is that we actually don't make payments directly to you. What we do is we have a third party servicing company, and they actually keep you up to, they keep us kosher, right? So make sure that we're making payments, and, they send statements to you as well. Now, what's cool about that is that this third party company, servicing company, what they'll do is they'll actually they'll put in what's called the performance deed. So even if I'm one day late on paying you, you actually get to take the house back. So that's how Nancy was covered, and that's how she was protected. So it's not like we're just writing agreements up but I mean, that was her. Not sure if you would be open to something like that.
At this point, I don't want to do that, but I may consider that depending on how things change in the future.
Yeah. So I keep hearing a lot, right? Like earlier, you said something about, you were considering, but you're waiting, and then now you're telling me something about the future. I mean, what's changing, or what is your main concern right now as far as selling?
Um, basically my wife and I decided not to move forward with selling. That's all.
Oh, got it, got it. So, okay. So, what are we talking about? Maybe around Christmas time?
Yeah, you can call me back then, sure.
Okay, perfect. That's all I
Yep.
wanted to know. So what I'll do is I'll have Carl, basically give you, maybe if it's okay if he follows up with you or follow through with you, once a month or something, just to see if anything's changed. At least you have an idea how we can work together besides just, basically paying you cash. I mean, there's always other options that you can sell to us, but yeah, again, this is more of future conversations because your time frame is way long than normally people that sell to us. But James, I really appreciate the conversation. You have a good day. Okay,
All right, bye.
sounds good. Bye. All right, guys. So a lot on that call, right? I typically don't dive too deep into a call like that unless I know I got motivation, time frame. But I wanted to do that because I know we haven't gotten a lot of contact. I want to make sure that you guys hear how I navigate the conversation, and then also how that way you can hear how you can actually talk to somebody like that. Now, couple things I did on that call. The first thing is I want to talk about is the time frame. You guys notice how I picked the farthest date possible. Like I could have selected July the 4th, which is the next holiday. So that's something that that you can do, like whatever the next holiday is, if it's 3 months, 6 months. But with this guy, I had a feeling that he's just entertaining calls. He's not really serious about selling. As you can hear, there's nothing there for him to really get him motivated to go or to move or to sell. So I picked Christmas, right? I said, so when are you thinking about selling? Somewhere around Christmas time? He's like, absolutely, call me around that time. So typically, when we go to the next date of a holiday, which in this case would be either Mother's Day or July the 4th, which is a major holiday. But I decided to pick December because I knew this guy wasn't really interested in selling. Now, as far as the creative stuff, you guys heard me right. I didn't say terms. I didn't talk about bank. I didn't say anything like that. I try to lay it out to him as easy and as layman as possible. So that way, and again, I don't typically dive too deep into those calls like that because I didn't hear any motivation and the timeline was too far out. I can tell already from what he was telling me. But I just wanted to stay on the phone so you guys can hear how I navigate a conversation, how I discover things, how when they make statements, I want to make sure that they actually, what is it called? What is it called? Defend their statements. I'm not going to guess. I'm not going to, figure out what they are. If you guys have any questions or on that specific call while I look at the next call, drop your questions in there. Hopefully you got some value out of that call. And guys, if you're on YouTube, and make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel, right? I want you guys to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you're getting value out of this, make sure that you guys also take a screenshot or a quick recording and tag me on Instagram. If you guys don't have my Instagram handle, I want to put it on here for you guys so that way you guys can basically tag me on there. So let me know if you guys have any questions. There's my Instagram handle, so that way you guys can tag me on it, tag me on any pictures or if any comments that you guys might have. And again, you can DM me so that way you can I can answer any questions that you have. So let's see if there's any questions. If there's any questions, put them in the comment section. I'm gonna move on to the next one. Let's see if we can get somebody else live. That actually wants to sell. So far, we've been striking out a little bit here. No answers. We got somebody on the phone that was completely, there's no motivation, right? Give me 700,000 or I'm walking. We got another guy here that's interested in selling but it's on hold. And this is the process, everyone. This is normal. This is not normal. Like, you're gonna run into this unless you're spending thousands of dollars on marketing and you're looking for the low hanging fruit. You got to learn how to negotiate. You got to learn how to sift. You got to learn how to qualify or disqualify so you can move on to the next one. Is these deals that are the ones that you're going to see the most, not the low hanging fruit. So all right, let's call Scott, see what's going on with him. Let's see here. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section. I'm going to pull up this next property while the number is dialing so that way I can get to your questions as soon as we get through this call here. So let's see. All right, let's go. Let's see. All right, let's call Scott. See what's going on with Scott. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with call rail today. I have to double dial, so sorry about that, guys. Let's see.
To connect to 86.
All right, you guys hear that double dial back to back
Your
like
call
that?
has been forwarded to an automatic voice.
All right, before I leave a voicemail, I'm going to call him again one more time.
To connect to 86.
Yeah, again, you guys heard that double.
Your call has been
All right.
forwarded to an automatic.
All right. If they do call back, I'll pick it up and I'll answer it live. So I do have a question here from Sergio. Let me pull up the question. That way Sergio can that way I can give you an answer, Sergio. Um, so here's Sergio's question. He says, after you dig a little bit into their pain and they ask what your offer is, where do you take the conversation from that? That's actually a really, really good point, right? So what we do is we make the introduction, we build rapport, and then we ask them some pain questions. Why are you considering selling? What are you doing? What are you gonna do after you sell the property? Things like that. So that way, um, and that way you can, figure out. I got a call coming in, guys. Let me answer this. It might be Scott. I'll finish answering that question, Sergio. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, is this Scott?
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Scott. My name is Max. I'm calling you because you had spoken to one of my team members about your property over on North 40th Lane.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Probably caught you at a bad time.
Listen, it's pending. I don't know what agent this is. That house is pending. It's almost done.
Oh, okay.
What's this regarding?
It's on the market already? It's pending to close?
It's pending. It's almost done. I'm almost done. I don't need any help.
Oh, no, I didn't call to see if you needed help. I was calling to see if you were still considering selling.
Nope, it's already done.
All right, sounds good. When do you actually close? So that way I can maybe just take it off our file here, close the file.
You know what? Whenever the renter moves out, it could be tomorrow. It could be a couple months. Whenever the renter moves out.
Oh, so you don't have an official date then?
Whenever the renter moves out.
Okay. All right. Do you have any other properties you would consider selling, Scott?
This is my last one.
Man, I'm late to the party, man.
You're late to the party.
All right, Scott.
All right, you have a good day.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye. Now, guys, you see that? I asked him, when does he close? So there's two things why I asked that. Because he could be lying to me, which I got a feeling he was. He was in a hurry to get off the phone. But I typically love asking, when do you close? Because what happens is that now, if they're not prepared for that question, because if I'm selling a property and my contract says to close escrow on such and such date, automatically, if you ask me that question, I'm going to say, yeah, we're closing on the 30th. Now, he said whenever the renter moves out, to me, that's a little bit of BS. But I love asking that. So if you have somebody that you talk to and they say, I've already sold it, I'm already under contract, or we're getting ready to close, like he said, what we do is we actually, I'll ask them that. Awesome. Congratulations. Sounds like you got it sold. When do you close? Because that's going to kind of knock them out of position, and it's going to pattern interrupt their mind, and they're not going to know how to answer that, right? They should if they say they're going to close. Now he came back and pretty good when throughout the whole tenant thing, right? We know that, we saw that. So, Sergio, let me get back to your question. After you dig a little bit into their pain and ask and they ask what my offer is, where do you take the conversation from there? So So a couple things will happen, right? Let's say that you build enough rapport, you got enough pain already from them. So what you want to do now, and let's say, okay, I've already answered a lot of your questions. What would you offer on the property? So I don't typically like to give my offer right away. There's actually three things that you can do, right? The first thing is you always want to say, look, I don't know what my offer is yet. So what I'm hearing is that you're just to kind of before I even give you, what the offer is. It sounds like you want to move to another state, right? You want to get this done here in the next 45 days. And then also you don't want to list it because you don't want people coming in through the house. So Sergio, just out of curiosity, if we were able to make those three things happen for you, you know, what would you feel comfortable selling the property knowing that we can take care of all those three things? So that's the first thing I say when they say, "What's your offer?" Right? I want to go back and hit the pain points, and then make it, and then transition it into like the easiest process possible for you. What would be, well, you can even say, what's the lowest you feel comfortable selling? Now, I used to use that a lot. I don't use it as much, but still, it's still a good way to say, Sergio, what is the lowest that you would feel selling the property, knowing that we can get you moved out, knowing that you didn't have to list it, and no showings, and what the offer we in the and what the offer that we made was going to be net to you. You have no closing costs. Now, they might give you a number. So remember that it doesn't hurt to ask the question. So don't give an offer as soon as they ask it. The second thing that could happen is they can say like, "Hey, you know what? I don't know. You're the professional, right? You're the one. You make me the offer. I don't really know, right? A lot of times we'll get that. So that objection again, that's another stall because who doesn't know how much they want for their property, right? The day of, and then I'll hit them with this. Look, I understand that, Sergio. I get it. I am the professional, but ultimately it is your property. Typically, when I come out, when somebody calls me and I talk to that they're ready to sell their property, usually the night before, the day before, or 30 days before, when they start thinking about selling, they usually have a ballpark number in mind. Off the record, what is that number that you're thinking of, Sergio? It doesn't have to be exact, just ballpark. Where do you think you want to be at, right? Because then now they have a number in mind. Like they know, especially in this market, man, they're looking at Zillow, they're looking at Redfin, they're looking at their neighbor, they're talking to somebody, and they always have some sort of number in mind. Whether that number is wrong, it doesn't matter. Everyone has a number. Um, and so far, right, like in that guy that we talked to that he wanted 225, for that property, right? Everyone has a number at the end of the day. And then the third way, what I always like to do is like, okay, so we get past through the pain question. The motivation is I like asking like, okay, so the next thing I guess I want to ask you, now that we know we established a relationship in regards to why you want to sell. So it sounds like this property's paid off completely. You don't owe absolutely anything. What am I doing there? I'm making an assumption statement, right? I'm assuming that this property's paid off. And what happens is that most than not, it's not. Most properties that we deal with or we talk to, it's very rare that they're paid off completely. There's always a mortgage left. And that's what I want to know. And so you can say like, no, Max, I still owe 100,000 on it. It's not paid off. Okay, perfect. So then basically what that means is that we got to pay the bank off. I can't make you an offer lower than 100,000, right? And they'll laugh like, no, no, of course. And I wouldn't take anything, I wouldn't take 100,000 even. No, perfect. Okay. So Sergio, we know that we have to pay the bank 100,000. And you remember earlier when I asked James, what is that next check that you're going to write out for? What is that amount of that next check that you're going to write out for? Well, I got to pay my car at 25,000. Okay, perfect. 125,000. Is there anything else that you might need to pay out of the proceeds once you sell? That way I know I can't make you an offer lower than that. And they're gonna say, no, well, I have a credit card for 30,000 or something. So now we're at 150, right? We're gonna say 150. We're 150,000. I'm negotiating from what's owed, right? And what's going to happen now? My last question to them is going to be like, okay, so we know we got to pay the mortgage. We know we got that $25,000 or $20,000 car, and then we got the $30,000 credit line that we need to pay off for credit card. So we know we're at 150. I can't make you an offer 150 now, Sergio. What is the amount that you need on top of that after paying that off to walk away and make you feel comfortable to sell the property to me? You know what, Max? If I can get 50,000 for the property on top of what is owed and what I have to pay, I feel comfortable selling it to you. So now that puts me at 200,000. So that's a way to, those three strategies is a way for you to kind of go around giving them an offer. And then the last thing is the Hail Mary, right? Like, look, I don't know what I can offer yet. I haven't looked at the property, what I'm seeing in the area. Always, 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 always put yourself in a position where it's not you giving the offer. What I'm seeing in the area, Sergio, other investors in the area are paying between, if your MAO is 150, then always go 20 to 15 to $20,000 lower, right? So if my MAO is 150, Sergio, what I'm seeing other investors in the area are paying between 115 to 125, whatever the case may be. I'm assuming you probably wouldn't accept anything less around there. So now it's not you making the offer. Hey, I'm not making the offer. This is what I'm seeing other investors in the area. This is what they're paying, for properties, as is, between 115 or 125. Now, here's what you're going to get. You're going to get a reaction that's usually going to be like, no, that's way too low. I agree. Absolutely. What would you feel comfortable selling the property for? So you notice we're not giving any offers in any of those scenarios. The only time that we're giving an offer is, or we're agreeing to pay for the property, is basically when they're ready to sign the agreement. Now, I mean, granted, it's every situation is different, so I don't want to make it sound like it always goes perfect, right? Because it doesn't. But those are strategies that you can use. They're a little bit more technical, but they work every single time, especially if you use them at such a high level. So, Emilio said he's just putting up roadblocks. Yeah, he is. Again, there's no objections. They're usually just stalls. But for him, especially this guy that said, he'll sell when the renter moves out. It's just, he's, again, there's probably not a lot of pain there, not a lot of motivation. If you're going to be on these lives, you're going to see that that's really what I'm after, is who do I have on the phone that's got motivation, that's got pain, and that also is willing to engage in a conversation, so that way we can move forward and potentially buy their property. So I appreciate that. So let's do this. Let's make a couple more calls, and let's see if we can get somebody on the phone. So what I'm gonna do is, let's see who's next on here. So let's see. Let's call William. Guys, if you have any other questions, drop them into the comment section, and I'll get to them right after this call. So let's see. All right, I'm getting the address. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Carl. I apologize about that. I have to dial it out twice for some reason. Usually, Carl is really good. Oh, hopefully my internet didn't go out.
Security.
Hello, William.
Yeah.
Hey, William. My name is Max. I'm calling you because you spoke with one of my team members about your property over at West Altadena Avenue.
Okay.
Okay, probably caught you at a bad time.
Yeah, I'm actually walking into a meeting.
Oh, you are? Okay. So if you were me calling back, what time would you do that?
Today is pretty much shot. Tomorrow after 3, I think it opens up a little bit. You
Okay.
hear that?
So if you prefer any time after
Huh?
3, what would you prefer?
Well, I mean, it just, I answer this phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I just know my schedule opens up tomorrow about 3 o'clock.
So 3:30, would that work?
Sure. Yeah, give it a try.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. I got you down for 3:30 tomorrow, William. Take care. Bye.
All right, you bet.
Yep.
Bye.
All right. So that guy was going into a meeting. Let's see. Let me get back to the comment section here. So yeah, that guy is going into a meeting. Did you guys see what I did there? Right? I didn't say like I made him decide what time and what day. I didn't say like, hey, can I call you back tomorrow? I'm not I didn't ask him like, hey, if it's okay, well, what, can I call you back later or anything? I made him commit to a time. I even called it out at the end, sure, right? Because he wasn't pretty solid. No wishy-washy language. We want to make sure that we understand that we mean business when we're actually talking to people. So we want to make sure that we get commitment from them. So a lot of people have asked me like, why do you ask probably caught you at a bad time? So I did a video about this because what happens a lot of times is that guy was going into a meeting right now. He could be lying, I don't know, but I want to know that because When he answered and I said, "Hey, this is Max. I'm calling you because you spoke to one of my team members about your property at XYZ." And if I would have kept going, with the conversation, it would have been too fast, and then basically it wouldn't have been fluid, right? And this is why I asked. The guy was going into a meeting. He wasn't in a position to talk. I just wanted to make sure. So we got him scheduled for tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So guys, we just hit the 1 hour mark. If you have any questions, I'm gonna stay on for another 10 minutes to answer questions. So that way, if you do have some questions on, on anything you heard today, anything that that came across that you didn't understand, I want to answer the questions. I want to make sure that while everyone is thinking about what questions to ask, I want to say some that I talked about. We've been talking about all this week. We're starting to allow, or not allow, but we're starting to collaborate with other people to leverage our relationships nationwide. We actually, this week, we got 3 deals this week, one in Louisiana, one in North Carolina, and I can't remember, there's a third one somewhere else, I can't remember. So what we want to do is we want to collaborate with you. We want to call the sellers. We want to help you from, you don't have to have it locked up. Look, if you have the contract, and you don't have to bring it to us. I'm not asking you to bring a deal to us. That's not what I'm asking you. What I'm asking is that you collaborate with us if you want. Even if you got a lead like this, we'll call it. So we're opening up all the way to acquisitions, right? Lead management for the follow up, and then also transactions all the way up to dispo. So we want to collaborate with you. If you have a deal, you see my Instagram handle there, Real Max Jimenez. Shoot me a DM, send me a message, and that way I can, we can collaborate on a deal. But if you have any questions on today, what you saw, what you heard, drop them on the comment section. If I don't get to them right now, and if you have a question later, I definitely still want to answer those questions. So that way, you guys can get your questions answered. So, uh, but that's it. I mean, you guys saw, this is real life, right? This is what you will go through. You're gonna go through some no answers. You're gonna get people that are not motivated. Motivation is real levels are really low. We want to talk to people. One thing I always say, right? We're not in the convincing business, we're in the sifting business. A lot of times what happens is we get caught up too much in trying to convince somebody to sell to us, trying to, what is it called? Trying to get a seller, to convince them, in other words. And we don't want to do that. We want to have a mutual relationship, so that way sellers don't ghost you. So that way, you get that deal done from the starting point all the way to the end point. So, again, last thing I want to say is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you do have leads that you want to submit, I'm going to put the link on the video here for us to call next week. Remember, every single Thursday at 10 a.m. Arizona time. I know right now the time's going to change here pretty soon, but it is 12 Eastern currently. So 10 a.m. Arizona time, which makes it 12 Eastern time as well. So everyone, I appreciate it. Thank you for joining me. Until the next one, I will talk to you guys later.